What's going on, everyone? Israel back here with another video, and as you guys know, this Friday there's a new roster update for the first time for the 2023 season. So let's dive in to some of the stat leaders right now that we can expect to go up probably in this new roster update. So let's check out the average right here. Average is, I think one of the mainly most used stats across the whole league. Everyone pretty much looks at it. If you're batting 300, you're a great hitter and up. And we've seen even some guys this season in the 400 with 16 and 15 games in. I mean, you have guys you have some guys like Luis Arias right here, who's batting 463. He was obviously in that Pablo Lopez trade in the offseason for Miami. So really proving that he is literally one of the best hitters. He led the league in average last year in the AL. So doing the same thing in the NL here. We also have guys from Toronto such as Matt Chapman and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. on this list. They're hitting insanely well. Matt Chapman's at a 421, and then Vlad is at a 381 average. Even guys like Brian Scott from the Phillies, I don't think a lot of people know that he is one of the best players for that roster playing second base. It's another guy from the Phillies, Brandon Marsh, obviously in center field, hitting really good at that 378 mark. And we have a lot of guys hitting really well. I think the league is a little bit more offensive favored right now, just with the new rules in place, and you got to get ready. So I think that's going to take some getting used to for a lot of the pitchers, I think. But a lot of guys are really doing good in this average stat, which you usually don't see when you get later in the season. So really nice to see, at least in this stat. We have a lot of guys from a lot of different teams doing really good. So that's very exciting to see. So let's move on to RBIs. RBIs, obviously how you score runs pretty much. Let's go on the list of these. Now, these are probably going to be the winning teams we've seen throughout this little split so far. But Yordan Alvarez, obviously from the Astros, got 20 ribbies already. He's been performing really well so far with 2 doubles and 4 home runs, looking really solid. The next one is Ryan Mountcastle, also at 20 RBIs, playing really well for the Baltimore Orioles right now. And this is the main reason they're having so much success. He's obviously got the 4 doubles and the 6 home runs. There's a little bit more extra base hits, which is exciting to see. Next on that list is Randy Arozarena at 17. Same with Matt Olson at 17. So a lot of these guys are going to be on this list as well that could maybe go up in the stats. So that's very interesting to see as well. Now, if we take a look at everyone's favorite stat, home runs, Pete Alonso is leading the list at 8, followed by Rafael Devers at 6, and then Mountcastle, Max Muncy, and Patrick Wisdom are all tied at 6 home runs so far this season. So really nice for those guys as well. And plus, Patrick Wisdom has only played 13 games compared to everyone else is at like 16 or 15 games. So that's really impressive for him as well. So a lot of these guys, obviously the home runs we'll see increased. Obviously, we had 62 with Judge last season. There are a lot of the guys in the 40s. So we'll see how much home runs we're able to hit with these new rules this year. But yeah, they're looking really solid overall. And the last core category we're going to look at is hits. So hits, obviously, you got to have the most hits. It's not really a looked at stat that much. I don't know, because it's usually pertained with the average, I guess, so it's not really looked at that much. But number 1 on the list is Bo Bichette. He's been having a great season so far. He's been hitting the crap out of the baseball, and he's had multiple 3-hit, 4-hit, 5-hit games as well. So really impressive from him. The other one tied is Bryant Scott from the Phillies, which we talked about a little bit earlier. And then tied at 25 is Ronald Acuna Jr., having a really good season, and then Luis Urias again. So, having a great season. These guys are leading this hit column. A lot of other guys as well having a good hit column as well. So that is very interesting to see. Let's go over to the pitchers now. We're going to start with ERA. This might shock a lot of people, I think. But Sonny Gray has the lowest ERA in the league at a 0.53. Now, I think Sonny Gray, he's had an up and down career. He was on the Reds. He looked really good. Then now he's on Minnesota. And he is performing really well. 2-0 start so far in 3 games. So pretty good overall for him. Let's go to the next one at Luis Castillo at 0.73 over 4 games. So he's been looking really good for Seattle. That's been a phenomenal trade that they have made to get him on the roster and performing insanely well for that side. Next, we have Ohtani, which I don't think it really surprised to most people, at 0.86 in 4 games. He looked really well today as well, playing the Red Sox. So really solid overall for all these guys. Next is Garrett Cole. He's actually 4-0 on this list with 4 starts, and he's 0.95. He's looked really solid for this Yankee roster. This is exactly what they needed for him to do. He's obviously shoved in his last start. He went 9 innings, so absolutely insane from him on that behalf. So really just shout out to Garrett Cole. And another one that might not people know, Kyle Freeman from the Colorado Rockies at 3 starts at 0.96 ERA, which you really don't see from guys on Colorado with, their whole home situation, their field, and everything like that. So really solid for him as well. And then Marcus Stroman is the next in the list. Shout out to Marcus Stroman from the Cubs. So interesting to see all these guys on this list. I don't think a lot of people would expect, Sonny Gray, Luis Castillo maybe, Kyle Freeman. All these guys are performing really well, and I can see these guys going up in overall in MLB The Show. Let's look at another category real quick. We'll go to shutouts. There's only been 2 on the season at Garrett Cole, which just happened, and then Sandy Alcantara, who's had an up and down season so far. His first outing was really good. His outings after that, not so well. He's at a 5.84 ERA, so not the best for him. He's going to bounce back, though, but I want to give him a shout-out for the crazy shutouts we're seeing. So let's look at some of the closers now. Let's go to saves. The saves opportunities we've seen, obviously come in the bullpen, close at the game. Jordan Romano for the Toronto Blue Jays has had the most successful saves so far at 6. He's had 7 opportunities. And then Class A from Cleveland is at 5 out of 6 opportunities. Looking pretty solid overall. Class A, one of our guys that will be the show. Really good cards. So if he goes up, he'll be kind of scary, especially in BR. Let's also look at innings pitched. Who are the guys that are going deep in the games? This is obviously a stamina stat for all the live series card, but Garrett Cole's got the most with the 4 starts that he's gotten, and he's looked pretty solid. Pablo Lopez, once again on the Twins, has also been going really far in these games. Shane Bieber's on this list as well, and once again, Sandy Alcantara is up here as well with 24.2 innings, which is usually the guy that goes the longest in a lot of these games. Even guys like Zach Galligan's been on here from Arizona, which is performing really well overall this season. So we're seeing a lot of those guys on here as well. Let's look at some of the struggles this season for the pitchers, but earned runs. How many runs are they letting in? Luis Cessa is up here on the board for Cincinnati. He's at 18 runs in 3 games, so not the best. He's at a 13.5 ERA. Not the best for him. Maybe it's a good thing the Yankees did get rid of him. Another one I think that's surprising is Miles Moustakas for the Cardinals. He's at 18 as well. So normally the Cardinals have some pretty good pitchers over there, and yeah, not what you want to see out of him. That's why they're so down the start of this season, at least. Now their best, we obviously has Sandy Alcantara on this list. I think he's going to bounce back this season, and we'll see what comes from him. But a lot of these guys I think could definitely go up or down in overall. It's just kind of a matter of time what we're going to see from the devs. Obviously, if you guys don't know how it works, they run a 3-year cycle, so they kind of take stats. Well, now it's going to be 20 or 21, 22, and 23 to get their overall what they think it is in these roster updates. So 21 season, 22 season, and then 23. Obviously 23 is being the most impactful, obviously, because it's just happening to their card. But if you guys want a little insight how they do it, that's pretty much how it does. 23 is the most important, and then 22 is the second most important, and then the 21 season is the least important to their cards. So that's why you see some guys going up and down a lot, or some guys, stay the same. That's kind of how they do it. So you kind of have to really perform well. You can also see a lot of these guys for the April, the tops now moments. We're seeing the April monthlies, obviously. We'll see who ends up getting that. If I had to make an early prediction, I feel like Bo Bichette's got it in the past. I feel like Brian Scott maybe he's got a shot to get it this season, just because he hasn't really had an insane lightning card before. I can see him getting it. We have guys like Matt Chapman maybe could get one. I think Luis Arias would definitely be deserving of one, just because he's been hitting absolutely insane, especially at the end of the season. He's been doing really well, so I think he's got to be on that list for me as well, as kind of the best hitter I think this season. So we'll see how he ends up the April month. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and kind of who I think based off the stats and what I think is going to happen. Obviously, there's a ton of great players, in the league. Obviously, these are a couple. I left out some big names like Adley Rutschman. I think for me is definitely one of the best players right now for the Baltimore Orioles. You have even guys like Wander Franco from Tampa. You got guys like Nolan Arenado still performing as well. So just kind of my kind of thoughts and opinions on who I might think. I got a feeling that they. A couple of these hitters are going to get it for the pitching side. I feel like you got to give one to Sonny Gray. Absolutely performing. Kyle Freeman, I think, is deserving one just because he doesn't get that one that much often. I don't know if Ohtani will get one just because he has a lot of cards in the game. I'm pretty sure he's up to like 3 or 4 cards already in the game. So we'll wait and see on that side. But a lot of these guys can get some good upgrades and some good upgrades on their cards, and maybe an April card down the future. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everyone.